So this is a very interesting amalgamation of old meeting the new. Basically, the brief by the client was like he wanted a very classic looking home. Not a classical, but a classic looking home. Modern, yet have slight traditional roots in it. My name is Gayatri and I run this studio called Yellow Sub Studio in Chennai. This project is an independent house situated in Adyar, and it's right next to the bordering the Theosophical Society compound, and it's a very quiet neighborhood. It's called Karpagam Gardens, and Theosophical Society is one of the green lungs of Chennai. Like if you walk into the space, it has some of the oldest trees in Chennai. So it's actually a 3-story home. It consists of ground plus 2 structure. So this is a bit of a challenging trapezoidal shaped structure, site, and we have this entirely facing Theosophical Society, so all the greens. So your access point from Adyar is in this direction, which hits the dead end, which we created a nice green landscape. There is actually a very beautiful, huge, almost 80 or 100-year-old tree that it ends up in at the dead end. So the original plan of the house is this, which has a lot of angular geometry going for it. This entire flooring was completely ripped open, all the walls were broken down. Basically, there are 2 entries into the house and we created 2 car parks instead of 1. So what we did is we broke down this entire space and made it a little bit linear. You enter into a foyer space, which then takes you to a waiting lounge here. So we are in the living room in the ground floor. As you can see, it's a nice double-heighted living room space, which we retained from the original structure, some portion of it, some we had to modify. And this volume is also continued on the outside, where you can, there's a courtyard which kind of connects the living and the courtyard on the outside through a sliding glass door. So when you open it, there's a nice big open connection that happens. Originally a triple height with nothing but a full bare wall on this side. So what we did was we broke open the entire wall. We just retained some portion of this and punctuated it just for security reasons, and made this little bit of an element which serves as a backdrop for maybe a sculpture or a pedestal. But the puncture helps in the cross ventilation of the space whenever we open the sliding doors and the doors in the living room. We've created like this little bit of a partition wall, which is also having a bit of fence, so there is a visual connect between the dining and the living room space. This paneling continues, it actually wraps around very cutely in a curve around a column that is existing there. So just to create that bit of a partition and also to kind of camouflage the column that is there. And this staircase was completely brought down and was made into a civil staircase, so an internal connection comes into the floor above for them. So we retained the external staircase, which was originally here, as an like a connection for his guests and all to come onto the 2nd floor directly, but we also gave an internal connection from the ground floor to the 1st floor. So right now we are on the 1st floor of what we can call like a family lounge of sorts, and so this became also like a family space where they can come together and watch TV. And if you see this, there are different kinds of seating arrangements here. One would be a little lounging space in the back, which is adjacent to the staircase that comes up from the ground floor. Then you have a little bit TV and a lounging space which overlooks the greens here. This was mainly a place where most of the close family came for, meeting the parents, and the downstairs then became a little bit of a formal kind of a living room setting. And then this, obviously, the double height area, which is overlooking the living room below, and this double height area overlooking the courtyard and the sit out below. So this became like a connecting bridge, and this passageway also directly connecting into the lift space here. The original plan of the second floor was actually intended to be a separate kind of a living quarter itself. So we opened up the entire space. The entry stayed as is. This living room, bedroom and dining then became a big living room and a library of sorts. So when you enter into the house, you have like, since the client entertains a lot, we integrated a little bit of a bar in this curved wall. To make it look a little bit more fluid, we integrated like a curved wall, which also then became your TV wall here. So this becomes your living. The sliding panels were introduced in this side so that this becomes a library, and also a connection from the library and the bar area into the sit out here. Then you enter from the living into the master bedroom, which originally was the kitchen. So the master bedroom as well, we opened up to the Theosophical Society. The differentiation between the master bedroom and the walk-in wardrobe was a paneling that we did completely in wood, which kind of becomes a bed back for your bed itself, and then have a separate walk-in wardrobe and access. This became actually the son's bedroom, which then had the TV wall was integrated here. You have a walk-in wardrobe here, and then this has become your bathroom and the shower area, which everything still overlooking the Theosophical Society.
So this guy is a teenager, so he needs a dedicated study space. So what we decided to do is we use this window space as a study area so that he gets a good natural light, which is on the eastern side. Have a study to be a cozy kind of a space, a private area. We have continued a paneling which has a curve shape, and it is a nice neutral feel to it.
So this passageway then became a focal point for his family photos and almost like a gallery of sorts. His library also houses his old book collection and whatever his collectibles are. Actually, it was a very old structure, and since it was right next to the Theosophical Society water bodies, there was a lot of challenges that the structure had, and a lot of damages had happened to the site. So the site was not in a condition for just a revamp of sorts. So we had to literally strip down the entire structure to its bare shell and keep just the columns and in place, and maybe some portions of the slab intact, and do a lot of space planning within to kind of build the house to what it is now. If you see the elevation of the house, what we have done is the older house rather, had a lot of wood, and it's actually good Burma teak wood. So we didn't want to waste it. So we actually made an entire elevation of the old wood itself. So if you see in the elevation, there's a lot of wood paneling that has gone just to create that little bit of separation in the elevation. So for us in every project, we do want to do something different, right? We don't restrain ourselves as having a certain identity or a certain only this kind of a design language. But yes, there are the renovation, you can't call it a renovation, it's mostly a revamp of the entire house. It was architecture, civil, structure, all kind of intervention that had to go into. So that challenge was, I feel, a lot more educational than, it wasn't design based, it was more need based kind of intervention that we had to do.